技术社区的总监，其实他的很大一部分的时间，他会花在就是看 Kickstarter 上面的 project， 然后确保可以上 Kickstarter 的 project 都是非常 healthy 跟有益于就是社区的，所以他很多时候他会看非常多有趣的 project。所以今天你来到这里呢，你可以拿回家的是，你可以更明确的了解 Kickstarter 是个什么样的东西，然后还可以更清晰的了解说一个 Kickstarter project 你是怎么从零到把它放到网站上面，然后众筹成功，然后再做到产品的一个这样子的过程。所以have a good night， 谢谢。
Thanks for that introduction. Hi everyone, my name is John. I'm very happy to be here. This is a very nice, cool, wonderful makerspace. I heard that this year the Maker Faire in Shenzhen was amazing. I heard it was 120,000 people. Do you guys know that makes this Maker Faire one of the biggest in the world immediately? It's awesome. I can't wait to come next year. So, I look over the design and tech categories at Kickstarter, which means that it's my job and my team's job to make sure that the projects that we have are very interesting, that they're cool, that they're fun. And there's always a lot of projects that either start in the US and end up getting made in Shenzhen, or start in Shenzhen and end up finding a community and an audience in the US. So I've been looking forward to coming here and meeting a lot of you. Before I start, I should say that Kickstarter is not actually open to local creators in China, which means that if you're only a business in China, you can't actually run a project. You can only really run a project on Kickstarter if you're an international business. But that's, it's a smaller world now, so things are international more and more. I have a presentation that I'll do that kind of will take us through a little bit of the story of Kickstarter, a little bit of how it works, talk about some specific projects. This is very informal. If you want to just ask me a question in the middle of the presentation, please do it. Before I start, how many people here have backed a project on Kickstarter? Have supported a project? That's pretty good. How many people have done a project on Kickstarter? I know both of them. I know both projects, so we're in good shape. Cool. Okay, so this is my profile. I've backed 547 projects, but this is a few months ago. Now I've backed 846.
Oh, wow.
I back a lot of projects for $1, just to back them and just to... All my friends think that I have no money left. This is what we do. Our website was created 6 years ago by an artist and by a writer. And they wanted to have a way that if anybody in the world wanted to create something that they could share with other people, that they would be able to do it. This is what drives everything on our site. Just the idea that you should be able to share what you make with other people. We have 15 categories. The makers of the world usually, many times are in the technology category, but oftentimes we find makers doing things in the food category, in the film category, in the photography category. Anything that you can make that you want to share with other people will fit in one of these categories. We have a great theater category, journalism, it's all sorts of different things. As of this summer, in August, 85,000 projects have been funded. $1.7 billion had been pledged towards projects. As of yesterday, it's $2 billion. So as of yesterday, $2 billion have gone towards 85,000 projects across the world. I looked up the numbers for Shenzhen today, and it's about 400 projects out of the Shenzhen area, which is actually really great, considering that we're not even open. So a lot of those might be from European people or American people that might be located in this area. 8.6 million people have backed a project on Kickstarter. 30% have backed more than one project, so 2+ projects. And that's important because it shows that people are coming back. People are returning to the website and finding new things and backing those as well. And again, those repeat backers represent 60% of all the dollars pledged. And that's really the difference between consumers, customers, somebody who walks in and you don't know them, and somebody who walks in and you know them because they've been with you before. They are part of your community. We've had backers from every single country on Earth. I think nearly because Antarctica might be a place that we have not had them. And we take a lot of pride and we feel very proud of our impact on global culture. Some projects that we really feel we've made a difference are like Oculus Rift. Are you guys familiar with VR?
Yes.
So when Oculus Rift started their project on our website, before Oculus, if you said VR, most people would laugh at you. They would say VR is bad. Nobody wants VR. But a lot of people did want VR. We wanted VR. So when Oculus showed up, and all of a sudden thousands of people supported it, and they helped create this company and this idea, all the other companies and creators and very interesting technology people of the world saw this. They helped create an entire industry around VR. So in the last 3 years, there's a lot of different kinds of VR headsets. There's companies that are making to be able to run in place when you wear it, sensors. Now there's hundreds of projects in the VR space, but it started with this one. So that's something that we're very proud to have helped.
How much they pledged that year?
I think Oculus was somewhere around 2 million. And since then, they actually were bought by Facebook last year. And now there's a lot of other companies that have launched VR headsets on our website as well. The 3Doodler is a 3D printing pen. I think I saw that when I walked in, actually. Yeah. It's really fun. If you guys are familiar with 3D printing, usually it's a robot that just does it by itself. This one, you just pick it up and you just create things with your hand. This one we're very proud of because you see it at Maker Faire. You know, little kids or makers or anybody just grabbing it and building with it. But we also see it in design stores as well. So you're able to, it's I think of it as a high-low. High design, but also kind of low tech. Anybody can use it. So being able to have a product, a design that works on both levels, that's a huge contribution, because then you're appealing to everybody in the world. And there's also things like a musician being able to find a path to make a music player for the music that he wants to hear, in the quality that he wants to hear. So not a technology company making a consumer electronics product that has to be bought by everybody in the world, but instead a musician saying, I want a music player that sounds good to me as a musician. So being able to forge that relationship between the musician and their fan through technology, that's a very powerful moment. And just to show something just very different, a Dutch artist wanted to paint an entire neighborhood in Rio, in Brazil, and just to make it beautiful. And there were 1,500 people in the world that wanted to help him. And so they gave him the money to paint the entire neighborhood in Brazil. So when we think about community, when we think about people, sometimes even just changing the environment and making it a beautiful place can have a very big impact. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how the website works on a project basis, just about projects. So, as I said before, there are 15 categories. When you have a project on the site, it actually has to belong in one of those 15 categories. The projects have to be honest and very clearly presented. So, if this is your first time making something, you should say that. And it's okay in that it's different from the normal world where you only want to show the good things and you only want to show like the nice clean lines and like the finished version. The Kickstarter is a little different. Like you're also showing very early versions of the work that you did and talking about what your experience is with something like this and talking about what might go wrong in the production process. It's a different way of presenting work. So a lot of it is like really about being honest about what you've done, what somebody else might have contributed, like a partner or a collaborator or a friend. And that helps a larger audience in the public on the internet understand who you are, why you're doing this, where you're doing it from, what knowledge you have. Like that helps. It brings people together. And the final one is that it's not fundraising for charity. So it's not fundraising for like disaster relief or for the Red Cross or UNICEF. It's not that kind of fundraising. I think everybody here understands that. Oh, and we also have a list of things that we don't allow. So you can't have a project for a gun, for example. That's pretty easy. This is what our project pages look like. I think most of you are probably familiar. But when you start a project, you have to give it a name. Then your name will show up, or your team's name. You have a basic image, a description. And over here you'll see how many backers the project has, how many people have contributed towards the project, the number of, like the dollar amount,